My name is Natalie Laws, and I will be giving a speech today on the objectification of women. In the article, How Does It Feel to Be Treated Like an Object? Direct and Indirect Effects of Exposure to Sexual Objectification on Women's Emotions in Daily Life, it's by Koval and others, it states that the average college-age woman in the United States is targeted by sexually objectifying behaviors every 1 to 2 days. In the world today, we need to be more aware of the objectification of women and the consequences that come from it. If you are a woman, you have probably faced sexual objectification yourself or witnessed other people having it on them. So you can relate to this topic. If you are a man, you might wonder, how can I relate? I would say you can relate because sexual objectification is happening to your wives, children, mothers, and sisters. After much research on this topic and my own experience with it, I can firmly state that objectification of women is very common in the world today. Today, while I cover the objectification of women, I will talk on 3 main points. First, being the sexual objectification of women and its effect on their mental health. Second, the sexual objectification of women and its correlation with violence. And last, the objectification of women and its ties with discrimination. Let's begin with my first point on sexual objectification and its effect on women's health. Exposure to sexual objectification is both directly and indirectly harmful to a woman's mental health and well-being. A woman's exposure to sexually objectifying events or environments is thought to directly cause distress and increase a woman's vulnerability to get things like sexual dysfunction, anxiety, depression, and even eating disorders. Even if a woman is not directly targeted by sexual objectification, she is likely to witness it in her daily life, either by interpersonal encounters or in the form of sexually explicit media. Both of these can cause distress in a woman's life and have effects on her mental health. Sexual objectification may also lead to a psychological harm, which is a psychic phenomenon termed self-objectification. Self-objectification, which involves a preoccupation with one's appearance and sexual worth, produces a host of harmful psychological consequences, including unpleasant and self-conscious emotions, such as anxiety and shame, which accumulate over time to increase a woman's risk of mental illness. If a woman has heightened self-objectification, these increase even more. Now that we've covered sexual objectification and its effect with women's mental health, let's move on to its correlation with violence. One factor that has been suggested often to cause violence against women from men is their exposure to sexually explicit media. In the article Less Than Human, Media Use, Objectification of Women, and Men's Acceptance of Sexual Aggression by Seabrook and others, they state, in sexually explicit media, 88% of scenes are reported to contain some sort of physical aggression towards a woman. Regular exposure to this explicit media has emerged as one of the many risk factors contributing to attitudes that are more accepting of sexual aggression towards women. Even exposure to mainstream media may contribute to sexual violence by suggesting that women are objects instead of subjects, and that they are there to serve others, especially men, and are not deserving of humane treatment. Regular exposure to mainstream media, which often sexually objectifies women, might lead men to be more accepting of notions that women are sexual objects and that they can engage in sexually objectifying behaviors with them, including dehumanizing sexual aggression. In this social media post by Marinaire Watches, you can see the picture below of a woman being held by her neck by a man and forced to be drinking alcohol. This is just one form of how mainstream media is sexually objectifying women and causing men to internalize the belief that they can sexually objectify a woman and make these decisions in their future interactions with women. Now that we've covered sexual objectification with women and its correlation with violence, let's move on to objectification of women and discrimination. Objectification of women can lead to men thinking of women as inferior and lead to discrimination in places like work. Sex discrimination is a broad term that includes any unfavorable behavior in the workplace due to someone's sex, such as not hiring them, not promoting them, giving them inferior work assignments, and paying them less. Sexual corrosion also takes place in the workplace. This is when men find women inferior and entails sexual advances in which the employee is offered some kind of benefit or is threatened with a negative job-related consequence if they do not perform in sexual advances. Gender policing is another way that women are discriminated against. Gender policing expresses contempt for women who behave in ways not seen as stereotypically feminine to others. In the article, Hidden in Plain Sight for Too Long, using text mining techniques to shine a light on workplace sexism and sexual harassment by Karami and others, they talk about Ann Hopkins, who was denied promotion despite performance reviews that were comparable and even superior to her male colleagues. Hopkins took this to court, and in the court case Price Waterhouse versus Hopkins Supreme Court, they found that she was subjected to sex discrimination when she was told to be considered for a promotion, she needed to walk more femininely, talk more femininely, dress more femininely, wear makeup, style her hair, and even wear jewelry. Women who identify as homosexual also face gender policing because they don't fit the stereotypical feminine world as well. Now that we've covered objectification of women and its ties with discrimination, let's conclude this speech. In the speech, I talked about 3 main points of objectification in today's society. These are sexual objectification of women and its effect on their mental health, sexual objectification of women and its correlation with violence, and the objectification of women and its ties to discrimination. In the world today, people need to be more aware of the objectification of women and the consequences that come from it. We should all do our best to speak up if we witness these behaviors and slow this trend down. Women are objectified for no reason other than the fact that they are female. As a society, we need to be more aware of what is happening and do our best to respect everyone, no matter our differences, including gender. Thank you.